morning, Earthlings. I'm sure that you've had candles that get like this. And what do you do when you get a bag of these after Christmas? Well, I'm going to be recycling candles today. It's not as hard as you think it is. It's really a piece of cake. In the Fabulous Travelers Art... In the where? In the Fabulous Traveling Art Studio. We're making candles. Well, we're just recycling them. You'll love it. What else would you do with that? I'm really hopeless when it comes to saving things, but after Shabbat, sometimes you have these candles left over. I don't throw them away. I make them into new candles. I'm going to do that today. In there. Not in there. I don't have a stove in there. I'll go in there. Whoa! I keep all of my wax stuff in a box down here in my couch. Here it is. I have everything in here that you need. You're going to want a pan. You can have some wax, optional. So I went to a Christmas Eve service, and they give you these little candles, and you get to light them, and it's really beautiful. You turn all the lights off, and you have all your candles. That's sweet. And then you blow them up, and you throw them away. These things. You throw them away. I just took them, and I did. So what I did, I took this can, I cut it up, and I put a little bit of wax in the bottom. Then I put the candle in like that. So I'm just going to use a wick out of it, really. But you might as well. Why not? I always use this pot for wax. I don't use it for anything else. And you don't want to clean a pot after you've had wax in it. It's just gross. Just get an old pan and just, whenever you have like a candle that's like almost done, you just put it in the pan. And you store it in the pan. And then when you have a bunch, then you do this. So I have this can, and it's already got a little bit of white wax in it in this candle. So what I'm going to do, this is pink wax now, and it's stinky stuff. So I'm going to put this in here. Careful, it might be hot, and wax is, whoa, and wax is never, ouch. So now I'm going to just let that go. And I've got a whole bunch of them that I'm going to just put a little bit in, because if you put too much, it'll actually melt that candle, and it's just a mess. So I'm going to wait. So what I'm going to have is just a little white, a little of this purple smelly stuff, and then whatever else I have in there. So when I'm done, I'll show you what I came up with. From free candles. Really, all of it really kind of was free, because when you throw away a candle. Okay, here's another thing. If you get your candles, these big ones, and you can't find the wick and it's ridiculous, you just take this thing, you turn it upside down in your pan, and you just heat it until you got a good wick again. Then all the stuff that you've just melted off of it, you can use that for this process that I'm doing right now. So it looks like the candle's kind of bent over a little bit. I'm going to just kind of babysit it so it doesn't end up like over there. They do that. So this is what they look like. It's kind of melted in there, but... So I had this old candle, and you know how they get ridiculous. So what I just did is I put it in my pan upside down. I'm just going to melt the top part off. And see, you can see the wick in the middle is already coming out. So I'm going to use that wax to make these candles. And that's pretty much all you do. Yeah. So I'm in my kitchen, and my living room, and my bedroom. Alright, so I'm just at home, but that's where I do this thing. I have a basket that I keep all of my wax stuff in. You want to keep it separate from your stuff that you're cooking with, because it's nasty. Also, if you don't make sure that you can be completely clean, your husband's going to have a fit, and I don't need anybody's husband's writing me emails. What have you done to my wife? She's making wax shit all over. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, I'll show you the basket. So this is my house, and I'm an artist, right? So you didn't come here to see my house. You came here to see me. Here's the basket. I have all these like candles like this in it. Well, that's not bad. But I just did that one. Turned out retarded. Anyway, so I've got wick in here, just in case. And sometimes these things can be put stuff in. But here we have the pan, and here we have my projects. They got these here. So I'm actually, what I'm going to be showing you right now is what to do with this guy. You get these, and if you don't watch it, you're going to end up with no wick, and it's a mess. So what I'm going to do, I've got this pan. You came to see me, not my house, right? I'm going to pop this upside down in the pan, and I'm just going to let it sit there. So what'll happen is the wax all around the wick will melt down, and the wick will be able to stand up. It'll be just like a new candle on the top. You don't want it on a high heat, and it doesn't take very long. As you can see, the outside's already melting. That just goes right in there. You gotta watch it. Don't walk away from the stove. That's what happened to me. I walked outside to do that video, and I came back in, and the candle was like in there going, I'm sorry. I melted all the way down to, it looked really silly. But basically, we're just going to stick it there and wait. Don't leave the room. And if you have small kids, you put them outside with their grandma. You don't want this around your kids, because all they need to do is pull this off the stove, and this wet wax, this hot wax. Oh, so I guess you just have to be really careful when you're working with wax. Other than that, it's a piece of cake. I'm just melting it, just really slowly melting it, and when I'm done, I'll be able to use that candle again. And I put the candle in it, and I put wax in it, just a little. Then I waited, and I put more. So what I do with these cans is I just keep them right in my box, and every time I do a new bunch of, see what I said? Oh, you gotta watch this. Whoa. So every time you do a new batch of wax, you just pour a little bit into each of your cans, and what you'll have, that's really gross, and what you'll have later is you pull the can part off, and what you have is a really nice candle with lots of layers of different colors if you have different color candles. So I'm thinking that this, I'm looking at it, and it's just gross on the top, so I'm going to give it a little more time. But see that gross stuff, and that gets in the wax, you don't want that. You can't recycle that, that's dirty. So you have to kind of find a way to just pour it off the top and keep it. It can be, that part can be gross. Some people like gross things. There. Well, I'm thinking, I'm going to look at it a little bit. So there you go. It's kind of ugly, right? But it's okay. I got the wick here, and I can pop that in my thing, and nobody will see it. So now I have this leftover wax from that project, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour it nicely into my cans. And she laughs. She laughs because I said this was easy. And you know, anybody can do this. It is easy. If you're not doing this, if you think it's hard, I kind of feel sorry for you. I'm sorry, I didn't say I feel sorry for you. That wasn't nice. Okay, here we go. We got a little bit of wax in there. There's this candle that I got. I thought I heard a hummingbird. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is warm wax. It's not, well, it's hot, but I'm going to pour it in. I'm going to pour it up. Oh no. Don't do that. I'm going to pour it over my pot. I'm going to pour it in so it doesn't make a mess. See, it always makes a mess. But I don't care what I'm doing. I'm gonna make a mess. I got a drill in my sink. Okay, here we go. You want to watch this? Probably not. You probably fell asleep already. Okay, so I've got this. I'm gonna just pour a little bit. So when you're done with all this, you set it aside, and when the wax gets cold, of course, it'll be ready. So you just take the can and cut it off of it. There you have a little candle. They make really nice gifts if you're a poor church mouse like I was. When I had my kids, I didn't have enough money to make gifts. I didn't have enough money to give gifts, but I'm a really generous person, so they got a lot of my handmade stuff. And this is a lot of what I did. It really doesn't take a lot of time. But when you're finished, you've recycled something. So I told you that was easy. That's what they look like when they're done. Ha! I already used mine. Anyway, now you know how to recycle candles. And you've seen my new haircut. Anyway, it's time for me to go to work. I hope you find your yeah. Until next time.